What was the most spectacular sight on the Apollo flight?
You know, every sight in space is spectacular. I mean, you just can never look out the window without being amazed at what you see. And I hope that technology will allow more and more people to go and see those sights and see our planet. It's a beautiful place, particularly when you see it from a distance. It's a magnificent sight. But the most beautiful sight, as we were approaching the moon, and I'd say maybe we're 5,000 to 7,000 miles out, pretty close, we flew into the moon's shadow, which means that from our point of view, the moon was eclipsing the sun. So we would see the dark gray moon, and behind it, the corona of the sun coming out all around. It was a lovely sight. And now we were close enough that the moon wasn't a disk as we see it from here on Earth. It looks pretty flat to us from here. But it was clearly three-dimensional, a ball, and it was covered with ridges and craters and valleys and hills and all manner of, and that was decidedly, it was in the dark, but it was being illuminated by the light of Earth. Now, because Earth is, as you know, 16 times bigger in area than the moon, and it's also more reflective. So consequently, it's substantial. Earthlight is substantially brighter than moonlight at the same distance. And because of the oceans, that light is decidedly blue. Light is blue. So we were looking at this three-dimensional ball with all these valleys and ridges and craters and things. We're falling. It was illuminated by blue Earth light, and we were flying toward it faster and falling faster and getting closer and getting faster. I thought it was the most beautiful sight I'd ever seen.
Clinging on.
Now, you can't sit in any kind of a machine and accelerate 7,000 or 8,000 miles an hour without you suspecting that something's going on. But you see, it was at night. We were on the night side of the Earth over Africa, and we couldn't see, and you just couldn't get an appreciation of what it was that was happening. But as we came out into daylight over Indonesia, we could see, and it was spectacular. We were ascending from the Earth at a rate of, something like going outward at 5,000 miles an hour or 7,000 miles an hour, something like that. But from our point of view, we just seemed like we were motionless, and the Earth was sinking away from us. And we could see more and more of the horizon, the Pacific out there, the Gulf, the Indian Ocean, Malaysia. All of a sudden, we could see the whole sphere, a great, gigantic blue ball covered with a white lace of clouds. And it was just sinking further and further away, sort of into that inky black sky. Well, I said to myself, boy, this time you might have just gone and done it.
In regards to the computers, we were chatting about this. On the actual Apollo, the landing module, the whole process, how powerful a computer did you have? In today's terminology, how powerful would you say it was?
Well, it was not as good as a laptop, but it was probably a little better than a handheld. It actually had, I mean, some of you that are computer nerds,
He's a pilot. He's not a nerd.
you know, you got to have gigs and that kind of stuff. And we didn't have gigs or even megs. The Apollo computer had 32K of fixed memory and 2K of erasable. That was it. No screen, no sound, no icons, no nothing. Just, and the keyboard just had, it had 0 through 10, read, clear, and enter. I think it might have been 1 or 2 more keys. We had no graphics, no screen, no. On its best days, it couldn't get to 1 megahertz. So it was slow and weak, but it got us there.
Hey, baby. Hey, back. Yeah. One last one from me. I got a question for me. There's one thing I want to know. There's one thing I want to know since the day you agreed to come. And as I mentioned to you, we live on a house, top of a hill, and we get so many great views of the sky at night. And here's the question that's just been, every time I go home and I see the moon, this is the question I've been wanting to ask you. It's a crystal clear November evening, little nip in the air. It's just as clear as can be. And you're driving home, and you get out of your car, and you look up. Like that. And you see this image like this, okay? What comes to your mind? What jumps to your mind?
Girls. Let me back up a little bit to the Apollo goal, which you all talked about earlier in the day and so on. The nice thing about that goal was that it was so simple and understandable. Send a man to the moon, return him safely to Earth by the end of the decade. I mean, everything you needed to know was there. And I think it's a great advantage when goals can be stated in such a way that they're not ambiguous and you know exactly what it is you're trying to do. And that was a model for me. I've never been as good at doing that for myself as Jack Kennedy did for our program. But the important thing to me, and I think probably to many here, is that you want to make a mark. You'd like to leave the world a little better than when you came. That's my goal.
Well,